hometown heat, but then will also be topical and cut down whatever famous person fell on their face or, whatever election stuff. But as you saw with their rap earlier in the night, they still did that. But now, because they're in Boston, they're talking shit on Tom Brady, right? Because Tom Brady left the New England Patriots. So fuck that guy. So it's still cutting down someone, but now I'm cutting down the people that this crowd fucking hates. So isn't that great? I just don't know with how MJF has always done his heel work and how he's cut down. The one that I always think of is Cincinnati when Brian Pillman Jr. and the city of Cincinnati got eviscerated on AEW Dynamite. I just don't know how he could do that and be that entertaining, but then cheer me. So
yeah,
it's going to be difficult.
I agree with you, Tom. I'm honestly touched. In the chat here on the YouTube, we've got. Let me read this here. See what you think of it. Girls18.online says my hot photo here. Wow. I can't.
I mean,
nobody's ever said anything. Nobody's ever said anything so nice to me.
Well, it's just the words of a genius.
It's the words of a genius. So you too can get in the chat of our live stream that is apparently choppy for some reason that I can't figure out. So remember to watch this back later. But you can still use hashtag tweet the table and chat with us that way, right? There's all many ways we want you to be our wrestling friend. Even, well, maybe not Girls 18 online. Maybe not them. But anyway, MJF can't be our friend, right? Isn't that where we were kind of basically
I kind of feel like so. So, but what do you think the Stokely Hathaway, hey, MJF, why you dick riding with Jon Moxley? Where does that play in?
So, okay, can I touch on that?
Sure.
This is why AEW is better than WWE. Because as you're watching the show, or maybe, kind of half watching the show or doing whatever, I can guarantee you're not going to hear somebody come out of nowhere with be like, well, he's dick riding this guy. Like, everybody knows you can't dick ride. God damn it. It's just that kind of realness, but also just that sort of like how you can push the envelope in 2022, right?
Yeah.
That one just made me instantly I'm more tied to Stokely Hathaway now, right? It was endearing.
The worst crime you can commit is dick riding without a license.
Where do you get a license? You don't know?
I don't dick ride.
Yeah,
I don't dick ride. So
no. Shit, I've been doing it without a license all these years. All right. Anyway.
So yeah, I just don't know where the firm plays into this because the firm actually is a mid-card heel faction that gets some wins, as we would see in our next segment, the first round of the World Title Eliminator Tournament. Ethan Page of the firm taking on God's favorite wrestler, Eddie Kingston, the greatest wrestler in the world. I'll fight you over it. I'm telling the truth. You're not. And Ethan Page gets the victory here. Did the Razor's Edge, which I forget what he calls it, the Ethan's Widow Peak or whatever the fuck it is. But from the top rope on Eddie Kingston, who is a broken man. I love Eddie Kingston. One of the endearing qualities about him is he's not 100% healthy at any time. So for him to take a move like that was pretty remarkable. I thought the match was really good.
Not healthy at any time and never was, right?
Exactly.
Never was.
Came out of the womb with arthritis and it has always been that way since.
Yeah.
But Ethan Page gets the victory here. So he moves on in the tournament. Eddie Kingston gets the loss. If you look at the tournament on paper, one could argue that Eddie Kingston was the biggest name in this tournament. So he's already out first round. We've seen Eddie Kingston have the friends do the intervention because of his anger. Now here's more fuel potentially for that anger by losing to Ethan Page. What do you think happens with Eddie Kingston here?
We're getting somewhere with Eddie Kingston. I think this is another slow roll for the AEW. This is kind of what they do with some of their undercard things, where it's not necessarily somebody that we want to call them undercard, but we'll get blips during the show for several weeks of we're hinting at something, a la the Elite Thanos videos that we'll talk about, and then this, where they're like, "Hey Eddie, you all right, dude? Hey Eddie, you should talk to somebody. Hey, Eddie, your friends say you should talk to somebody." Now, Eddie, damn, man, you're getting worked up on by fucking, you know what I mean? Like,